Okay, welcome back to the show, and I've got a special guest on the show today, a man that you may have seen on the screens of AEW Dark and NXT, Tamilian Vineesh. How are you doing today, man?
Thank you. I'm doing great. It's 6:30 in United States of America.
Yeah, and it's 11:36 over here in Ireland, but pleasure to talk to you today, man. I've seen you on a few podcasts recently, and the thing I like about your interviews is like you've got a nice little setup there, very clear, very nice, very concise, and you don't bullshit. You just tell the truth, and you just given your experiences in the business, how they are, what they've been, and I can only respect that, you know.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's rewind back.
Yeah.
When did you decide, man, that you were going to be a professional wrestler?
Oh man. Oh. Um. That's it. Oh, well, actually, you know what? It's not a tough one. So, cricket is a sport that's very popular in India.
Yeah,
So, even Caribbean countries and West Indies, and not only just India, even I believe in Ireland, England, cricket is a popular sport. So, my
yeah,
brother and myself used to watch the World Cup, and back then during the World Cup, they have like big long commercials during the intervals, and it's like you just sit back and watch it. So we were flipping the TV station, and we ended up seeing two brothers fighting in a blue cage. I still remember it. That's Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. I believe it was SummerSlam. And I was like, oh man, that's really cool. That's me and my brother. And I fall in love with it. And I always wanted to be a professional wrestler. And it's tough, man. It's tough to be a professional wrestler when you are in a place where there's nothing going on. There's no facilities, nothing. And then again, like my uncle and aunt, they're always like come over from states. They used to bring us like cassettes and everything, so we used to watch the Ultimate Warrior VHS tapes, and it was great. And that's when I really kind of like fall in love with the sport and moved to states. I was like way before I became a teenager officially.
yeah.
And again, at that time, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And again, my family were like, "No, it's not gonna work." But yeah, man, I always wanted, So then back in 2012, 2013, at that period of time, I got an opportunity to meet WWE Hall of Famer Johnny Rotz, um, and rest is history.
Yeah. If you talk about wrestling in India, it's kind of got bigger over time, hasn't it?
I really don't know because I haven't really noticed anything big happening apart from CWE, which is owned by the great Khali, WWE Hall of Famer, Great Khali. He's been doing great. He's been doing shows, but at the same time, I heard there's some other promotions out there. I think Wrestle Square or something. But Great Khali always draw a big crowd, and wrestling always been famous and popular. But the problem is, $1 is 70 some rupees in India. So that
Yeah.
means if you have $1, you can have a decent breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Hmm.
So that's a big amount of money. So when these bigger promotions goes to India, people can't afford it. So
Right.
they watch it, they support it online, but it's really hard to afford for a lot of people. And in India, I believe wrestling is decent, it's big, but it's not really popular as cricket or soccer, football. But people watch wrestling here and there.
Did you ever get to meet Mr. Kali?
No, never.
No, because he's like, I think he kind of helped kind of transcend wrestling again. Like, is he a pretty big? I'll give you an example. I used to work in Dublin in retail, in grocery stores with a couple of guys from India. They used to bring me over to their house and make some fine Indian cuisine, chicken and rice and different things like that. And they didn't know anything about wrestling, but they knew who the great Kali was.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a thing, man. Because just like Canada, people don't watch wrestling, but everybody knows who Bret the Hitman Hart is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's and also another funny thing is when I was in Mexico, I was invited by CML. So I went there talking to one of the managers, and without knowing, I said something stupid. I said, I think I'm the first South Indian, South Asian in your company gonna do this. And the lady simply said, I don't think so. Mr. Giant Singh was here. I was like, Giant Singh? Who's that? Then she showed me the picture of Great Khali. I had no clue Great Khali actually wrestled in Mexico for CML.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
he wrestled
wow.
in. He had some really really good matches in I think New Japan as well.
Yeah, he did with Giant Silva as the tag team.
Yeah, because a lot of people said obviously when he came into the wrestling, he was a big guy. I think sometimes he used to get a lot of heat from the crowd saying you can't wrestle and shit like that that he had to put
You
up
don't
with as a
have to
big guy.
wrestle when you're big. That's the thing people don't understand because you go back and watch the movie The Longest Yard, and he acted in that movie. He's a big
Yeah,
guy, and again, this is the thing. Another wrestling promotion, another Indian guy who's tall, who did a standing crossbody, and everybody's like, "Wow, this is so cool." But the thing is, you don't have to do a crossbody. You're a 7 foot tall. He's a big giant. Give him a
yeah,
big boot, back elbow, or something. You don't have to do any big moves like that. But again, Great Khali, I believe the guy that he is for his size and weight, he did way more than the people can do things in the past. He
yeah,
did way more, and with his best talents, even if it's a baby face, heel, he did his best.
yeah. So you did you ever get to wrestle in India then? No.
No,
Is that
I
something that
was
is?
invited so
Yeah,
many times, but
No, man, it just see.
how do I say this? I don't want to wrestle with somebody who copy what Roman Reigns does on TV. I don't want to wrestle with somebody who copy Dolph Ziggler does on TV. So for me, don't misunderstand me. There's so many guys. I'm sure, like they're coming up with their own things, their own moves, their signature stuffs. But from what I've seen, there's some guys that I really wanted to wrestle with. There's one guy I can name, Jay Jackson. He's also another Tamilian wrestler. He's coming up with the new innovative things, and there's other couple of guys out there I definitely like to wrestle. But when the right time arrives, definitely I'm sure it will happen. But I haven't got a chance to wrestle there.
yeah. Talk to me about the Tamilian aspect of your name and heritage and what that means for people that mightn't be aware of it.
Tamil is one of the oldest spoken languages in the world. So a lot of people think that Sanskrit, actually the oldest language from India. Well, there is a lot of arguments in there, but back in 2014, I believe in Indonesia, they found the transcripts of Tamil, which was like more than 10 or 15,000 years old. So, and Tamil is one of the oldest languages, and people who speak Tamil, um, it represents one of the oldest culture. If you look at Malaysia, second official language is Tamil. Sri Lanka, official language is Tamil. Singapore, again, second or third language is Tamil. So that is the culture. The language and the language is the culture. It's one of the oldest spoken language and oldest one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Not a lot of people knows about this. They knows about gas station, grocery store, Slumdog Millionaire, Chicken Tikka Masala, but they don't know anything else apart from that.
Yeah.
So there's another big histories out there, and this is what people don't understand. Britishers left India back in 1947. Since then, still English is the official language in India. It's because there are more languages, multiple languages, and every state is a different language. It's not different accent or anything like that. Different language, different culture. It's hard to combine these all together, and it's tough. What I speak, I don't think people from North India can speak, and people from Punjab, they cannot speak my language. And again, the only one language that connects everybody is English, and Tamil again. It's one of the oldest and richest culture and civilization.
Hmm.
Excuse me, I really apologize for that.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
No problem. Can you talk to me about like wrestling in America and kind of having to pay your dues and being on the road? Like, how long have you been wrestling in America now? We'll say.
I'll say, ever since you step in the ring, ever since you take your first bump, you're wrestling. and you're training. Two things. It's the same thing. Just like John Cena said once, training and learning process never ends. So again, 2013, paying your dues, you will get booked, but you won't get money. You won't get paid.
Hmm.
And you travel, you set up the ring. Promoter gives you the flyers, the posters. You go to the supermarket, you go to the Walmart parking lot, you go to the Giant Eagle parking lot, you go to the Kroger parking lot. You slide these flyers underneath the wiper blades, and
Yeah.
you stand in there. You hand it over, and sometimes people call cops on you, and things like this happens. But you sell tickets, and that's how you pay the dues. Like, and you show up early as possible. You help other boys to set up the ring, and you wait till everybody leave the building. You tear down. You help to tear down the ring. You clean everything, clean the toilets, clean the seats, make sure every trash, garbages, everything has been taken care of. Make sure we get the building back again. So these all paying the dues. Then you travel with the boys. You go to different states, different cities. Again, you might get paid. Sometimes you won't, and then you get hurt. Sometimes people stiff at you. Sometimes people shoot on you.
Yeah.
It's maybe a lack of training, maybe a lack of hatred. I don't know, because of the hatred. And you learn every time you go out there. You wrestle with different people with a different style, and you learn and you improve. Then when you get an opportunity to do seminars, like, I drove 35 hours to meet Bret the Hitman Hart to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I drove to Minneapolis, Minnesota from Pittsburgh to do a Christopher Daniels seminar in a Ken Anderson's wrestling school in 2016. And then you learn, you do tryout. I did a tryout with the Wrestle One in New York, and Kasayashi was there, and I got an opportunity to go to Japan. And again, you get an opportunity to learn something, you take it. And again,
Yeah.
I got a chance to train under Katsuyori Shibata-san from New Japan. So it's been a great ride, great journey. Just like in any other profession and in their job, there are good things and there are bad things. And I love professional wrestling. I wanted to learn as much as possible. I wanted to change the perspective about the Indian culture, Tamilian culture. I don't really care about the Indian culture. I care about the Tamil culture. That's what I'm representing. And apart from Jinder Mahal, apart from Great Khali, apart from Tiger Ali Singh, Gama Singh, there are other peoples. I mean, come on. I'm coming from a second largest populated country. There's more stories out there to tell. So I wanted to wrestle different. I wanted to show the world that I am a better talent than anyone came before me. That's my goal.
Mhm. And obviously, like, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be different turns and different parts here and there, and you feel like you're getting to your destination, but you're not there maybe yet.
Yeah, and you know what, man? Just like movies, just like entertainment media, um, the politics is there, and you need to know the right people to get somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I did a WWE tryout in 2021, and I got an opportunity to do AW Dark. And at that time, it was a great opportunity. And there are a lot of things has been said to me, and none of these things really happen. But again, you have to know people. You have to kiss their asses to make it somewhere when it comes to professional wrestling in general. And of course, a lot of people won't come out and say it because they're afraid of
Yeah.
their spot. They don't want to burn the bridges. They don't want heat. And there's still a lot of guys and girls out there hoping that someday they get that call, someday they get that
Yeah.
email.
You don't seem like the type of guy to me from watching like your interviews that you're willing to kiss ass to get to where you want to be. Like, you want to just
I
work
did it, man.
hard.
I did it for a whole year.
In NXT, was it?
No. That was for AEW. It's actually the funny
For
part is
Dark.
I never kissed any WWE guys' asses. They always invited me back, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember the guy who invited me. um, for SmackDown. We talk on the phone, and sometimes. So he said, Adam asked about you. I was like, what? Which Adam? He said, Edge. Edge was asking about you, like, who's that guy? I haven't seen him. I was like, yeah. So apparently, I have some good reputation somewhere else. That's why they keep calling me. They keep inviting me. So I never kiss anyone's asses in that company because I don't have to. Listen, man. I'm nobody, right? Nobody knows who I am unless you just Google it. Of course, all these bad negative things will pop up. But apart from that, nobody knows who I am. And whenever I get invited, they treat me like I'm a star. And
Yeah.
and the other side, of course, kissing asses was there. I still remember, Vineesh, this is what we're going to offer you. First year, 50,000. Second year, 70,000. Third year, 90,000. And then a month or two later, okay, how about 35,000 is okay per year? I was like, yeah, anything is fine. I just want to wrestle. And then a couple months later, how about $500 per week? You just come down here and train. Is that okay? I was like, yeah, no problem. And I'm sorry, man. I don't think you can come back because you have a heat because you overstayed.
Yeah, this is the AEW thing, and for people that don't know, I've seen the story, but just kind of to summarize it, you have supposedly heat in AEW for something that you really have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, man. It's just like I said. Let me tell you something about Tony Khan. One of the nicest person that I ever met. He reminded me of Mike Tenay from WCW and Impact Wrestling. The level of knowledge that he have about wrestling is insane. Because I remember we were talking about who was wrestling on the first on the card, who was the commentators, and where was the venue, and what TV station it was going on. He kind of like know everything.
Yeah.
And Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay was the Wikipedia of professional wrestling way before internet was a thing because he knew about everybody. So I never had any bad vibe from him. And again, I was contacted. I'll refresh it. Actually, I approached one person, and that person gave me an idea. Hey, why don't you reach out to AEW? This is like right after my WWE tryout, where being told like don't post anything on social media. We kind of like making a transition because we have to let some people go because of the budget cut and everything like that. So I kind of like I didn't contacted anybody. There's a lot of people where posting things like hey, I did the WWE tryout, this and that. I didn't post anything anywhere. I contacted QT Marshall from AEW. He invited me there, and we did a 5-minute match. And after that, we had this conversation. Hey, man, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what we can offer you. Then he said Tony Khan wants you to come to AEW. That's when after my first match, Tony Khan met me, and we had a great conversation. And we stayed in a hotel, in Marriott Hotel. And this is one of those times, again, like I mentioned about this in René Dupree's podcast. It's like, during the pandemic, we didn't have any fans, and it was just wrestlers as being fans. And we've been doing tapings like, Dark, Elevation, whatever, Dynamite, for I think 3, 4, 5 episodes or something like that. So we started the shoot like 12, 1 o'clock afternoon, and it ends next day, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we come home, and we come hotel, and we just chill, hang out, and relax. And again, some of these guys came to me, talked to me. They were drunk. Guys like John Moxley, Rocky Romero, Excalibur, and again, it was a certain situation. I'm getting a text, hey, dude, don't overstay. It's like already 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's okay. I don't want any heat. Next day, I apologized to the dude, and it was like everything is okay, good. And a week or two later, he buried me in front of his students, in front of 100 plus people. Like I said, you could have done this personally, privately. But then again, everything is good, and then I've been told that they have plans for India. They were looking for 6, 7 Indian guys so that we can do some shows for India. You're good. You speak the languages, and we have planned for you, possible contract for you. Maybe commentary for India, for AEW Dark, whatever.
Yep.
And it changed to then again it's changed. And one day I'm working out. He shows up and he asked me, "Hey, what about 30? How about 35K per year? Is that okay?" I was like, "Yeah, fantastic, perfect." At this point, even if it's 10 grand per year, I don't care. I just want to wrestle, And I've been asking him like, okay, and he'd been kind of like making fun of me and playing around. Because I was asking, and also like if there's anything that I have to do, if I have to improve my look, whatever. And so the guy suggested I'll have to come up with the gear that very similar to Jinder Mahal, which I completely against the idea because
Yeah.
Jinder is a wrestler wrestling WWE. Why would I need to look like him in somewhere else? My thing is entirely different. But you know what? I don't care. Like I came up with a couple of singlets. I sent him the pictures. I sent him the photos, and he selected one of those singlets, and I ended up making it. Then he said I have to look like a wrestler again. I mean, a real wrestler, not like a Marco Stun Jungle Boy kind of look like wrestler, like
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
wrestler. Got to gain some muscles, and again, I'm doing all that, and again, then I remember, how about $500 per week just to come here and train? I was like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, anything is fine. Just want to wrestle, right? Gave him all the respect of the world and everything, dude. And again, at the end of the day, I remember one day, and it was keep going on back and forth, back and forth. There was no proper response. And I even asked him, he said, "My wrestling style, do you want me to go and join in the gymnastics and learn all these gymnastics acrobatic moves?" And I said, "No, your wrestling style is fine. Everything's good." And nothing happened, man. And back and forth, back and forth. It was bad. It was really bad. And I asked him, like, I would appreciate if you can give me a straightforward answer. And he said, "I don't think you will ever come back. I don't think you will ever get a contract because you have heat." And I asked him, "What kind of heat?" He said, "You overstayed."
It just doesn't fucking make sense to me, to be honest with you.
Queen passed away. We had tsunamis. We have earthquakes. We have wars going on. But guess what? You overstayed, and you haven't.
I agree. I agreed with one thing that you said about the AEW dark matches. Now, I've seen people from Europe come over for these dark matches as well, and it seems to be the wrestlers that AEW can't fit on the card, they'll put on dark against like maybe unknown independents over in the States, and they'll just squash them. Guys that they can't fit on the main card, they'll just make them look good. They'll bring over a few independents, 5-minute match done.
Yeah. And I don't know you remember this. Lance Archer, he was the Bill Goldberg of AEW. He was squashing guys under 2 minutes and 3 minutes for like 2 years constantly.
Yeah.
And then on the mainstream, on Dynamite, I believe, he worked with Miro, and he passed out or tap out. If that's what you want to do, then why would you book him as an undefeated monster for 2 years?
Yeah, and he was in one of your dark match tag matches, wasn't he, with Colt Cabana, wasn't it? Those two guys against you and
That was Cole Cabana and Evil Uno.
Evil Uno, that was,
Yeah, myself and one of the students from the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's just like I said, man. This is the way I see it. I'm not a big TV mark. I've been on television. I've acted in movies. I acted in television shows. In fact, I even acted in a TV show called Heels on a season 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of like being in front of the camera a lot, and since I was a kid, so this is not a new thing to me. And there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of young wrestlers, male and female. Once they train for 6 months, they think that they're ready, and this business owe them something, and they can just go out there, and somehow they get squashed on AEW Dark, and they think that they made it. It's a big deal. They was like, "Oh well, I made it." Yeah, but you just got squashed under 2 minutes or 5 minutes. And then the funny part is, I remember my second match with the Acclaimed, and I was booked in New York, and and the promoter looked up the match, And I give him the references, like, I worked in AEW, so and so and so. So he asked me, can you send me the link? Which I did it. So within 10 minutes, he got back to me, dude, these guys are beating the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And I don't mind booking you, but I don't think I can pay you the money that you're asking for. Maybe I can give you like 5 minutes or something with one of our champion. And you, of course, you got to put him over. And I was like, look at the reputation that I just gained from
Yeah.
AEW Dark.
I understand, right? And I'm not going to mention this person's name, but I'll just say that there's a very popular wrestler over here in Ireland, and this person has been on AEW Dark twice, and we were all kind of very excited to stay up. It's on late over here. We stay up and watch it late, so it's on about 3, 4 a.m. And the both times that this wrestler was sent over there, gone within like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's been happening from 20. I believe when this started, it was a little bit special. They give some sort of highlight spots here and there for indie guys.
Hmm.
But then after that, it's all changed from 2020, 2021. It was just squash matches. And again, 50 states, more than 1,000 promotions, more than 100 plus thousand wrestlers.
Yeah.
And you're getting squashed under 5 minutes. How in the world are you going to show your talent?
There was one good thing that they've done for wrestling over here recently. Pac, he's got that belt that he can bring around Europe and defend it, and he brought it to Dublin. They've done a show there with a up and coming Irish wrestler called LJ Cleary. Obviously, he didn't win the match, but they had a very solid like 25-minute match, and it kind of put another Irish wrestler on the map over there. They showed that on Dark. It was actually filmed in Dublin for OTT Wrestling, so that's maybe a better avenue for them to go down rather than flying guys over to the States and getting them squashed in 5 minutes
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
but because if you look at guys like AR Fox, who did magic in Lucha Underground, then Spiral is another independent professional wrestler from Georgia. Great talent, very good technician. Then again, Shane Mercer, he's also another guy, insanely talented. Jason Kincaid, I don't know if you heard about him. He's another
Yeah.
guy. The Flip Gordon. There's so many names. There's so many talented guys. Why they're not getting the opportunity?
Hmm.
It's just politics. It's just those guys that I've mentioned. They're not friends with any of the bigger names. That's why they're not getting opportunities. And somebody told me this. It was very interesting. You know how to get a contract with AEW? You have to get hired by WWE and then get released. Then WWE will give you a contract.
Yeah, it seems to me, man, from looking on the outside in, that they've too many people now on the roster for such a small promotion, I think, and they're struggling to fit everyone on, and that's when the dark stuff comes into it as well. Did you have any positive experiences there? I'm going to ask you about a guy that I really like and respect, and I don't know if you've had any
Yeah, no,
interaction
no,
with
no.
him.
Before that, I just wanted to say
Yeah,
one more thing. It's like,
yeah,
you know all these internet blogs and articles. I believe it
yeah,
was MSN or Yahoo. I don't remember, but they said AEW signed more than 200 or 300 wrestlers. Out of 300 wrestlers, there's only less than 50 on TV on a regular basis. Most of them, they're just sitting back at home and having snacks, drinking beer, just chilling, enjoying the life. And same with the AEW Dark from 2019 to 2022. I'm sure more than 300 or 500 wrestlers showed up. And how many guys and girls got contract? I'm sure less than five. I don't know.
yeah. I was just going to say, like, you hear all this stuff about backstage AEW and all that shit that happened a few weeks ago with CM Punk and all that, and we don't need to get into that. That's been addressed enough. Did you ever have any interactions with Chris Jericho? Because he seems like a guy that can kind of, he hasn't really got publicly involved in all this stuff, but he seems like a kind of a guy that could maybe hold things together um, for them, I guess.
Back in 2016, when I met him, I think he was doing a storyline with Kevin, the best friends things.
The
So
list, yeah, the best
I
friend.
met him when he had a short hair in 2016 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was amazing to me. Maybe I was paying $100 uh, to see him and take a picture with him. I don't know what it was. I shook his hand and asked me to sit next to him, and he started asking me questions like, "Hey, man, dude, where are you from? Okay, cool." And now he have this long line of 1,000 people, and he's spending 5 to 10 minutes with me right there as a fan, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, this guy's so cool." Years later, here I am going to AEW, and Chris Jericho's in the back, and I approached him. I make sure like I'm not interrupting or interfering him, and I'm not bothering him. I was standing in the corner after his segment. Then I approached him. I introduced myself. My name is Vineesh so and so, and hey, nice meeting you. And I showed him the picture that I took with him in 2016. And he was kind of like, "Oh, it's so good, dude." And he's just kind of like, I mean, he did respond it, nothing like Punk. He just responded, but it was kind of like a cold response. And I feel like, I met him as a fan, and then I met him as a worker. It's an entirely
Yeah.
different thing. I believe you're an actor, like, you meet Sylvester Stallone after watching Rocky, whatever, to promote that movie. He goes out and fans want to take pictures with him, and he'll be super nice to you. And now you get an opportunity to act in the same movie or similar movie with this actor. um, the experience should be different. It's definitely going to be different. It's not going to be the
Yeah.
same way. Only some few people that I met were so cool inside and outside. So that was
Yeah.
my experience with Chris. And again, nothing bad or anything like that. It was just that cold vibe. It was again, like I said, he don't know me, and for him, I'm kind of like a mark, approaching him, showing him the old photo, and but hey,
that
he was
dude,
one of my heroes, man.
that dude is just like he's a machine. Like he's touring with his band, he's fucking wrestling, he's doing podcasts, and he's in movies coming out left, right, and center. Madness. Did you ever get to work or talk hands on with Triple H when you were there in WWE? And what do you make of
Uh,
him? I guess going forward now with the company, if you want to believe that, there's still kind of question marks over it. But I'd say Vince is not never really going to be gone. But obviously Triple H does seem to be getting a bit of power there now.
I met him right after my tryout, my second or third day, I believe it was the second day. Packed my bags and everything, and I saw him walking with Canyon Seaman wearing that black T-shirt and black pants, and I really wanted to talk to him, meet him, but and again, only at the right time and the right place. You do all these things, but I never got a chance to talk to him. But I got a chance to talk to Vince McMahon,
Oh, love to
and
hear about it.
yeah, I this was a couple of months ago in Greensboro, North Carolina Coliseum. This was one of his last Raws, and I was in the back doing extra work. And right after the main event, his limousine came in there. You have a bodyguard. He came out. So I don't know. I was in a state of mind. Today's the night. Tonight is the night. Uh, the man who created this amazing world. I'm gonna say hi to him, and I'm looking around. Nobody. Everybody's so scared. People are really scared and afraid to approach him. And me, I'm just like, even if it's gonna be my last night, okay, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say hi to Vince McMahon. I did said hi, hello, sir, how you doing? And he was like, "Oh, what's going on, kid? What's your name?" And I was like, "My name is Vineesh," and he asked me where I'm from and if I was having fun. And again, he said, "Nice meeting you." Shook my hand, and he walked away. And that was amazing. That was one of the greatest and best things ever happened. And again, this is not just as a fan who grew up watching WWE, finally met the guy who created WWE. It's something like you got a chance to meet Walt Disney
Yeah.
because you grew up watching and playing around the Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and all these cartoons, and finally you did got an opportunity to meet the creator. That was that feeling. And man, I was like, God Almighty, he didn't even have to say anything, but he did it. And for your question, I believe WWE right now it's more entertaining.
Yeah.
Their ratings are going up, especially Triple H doing a fantastic job. and great job. And a very fun fact about it right now. Years ago, I believe in 2005 or six, there was rivalries going between the McMahons and DX. And DX, they kind of did a lot of segments, and one of the segments were they were taking over WWE production crew and everything. Um, Years later,
It's
right
happening.
now, 2022, it happened. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they're pretty much kind of like in charge of WWE, doing great things. And I believe, like I said, like, the talents that I met in the back, like Sheamus, Finn Balor, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, everybody, and very humble, very professional. They're so happy. Even Kevin Owens, it's just like this. I met him right after the Mania where he had the match with Stone Cold, and again,
Oh,
it's
that was
just
great.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
everybody's super awesome. I can't say anything bad about anyone in there.
Yeah, it seems to be like or what it was an internet probably thing that everyone is unhappy there and they want to go to AEW. But now we've seen like that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Obviously, Cody coming back was a huge thing as well, wasn't it?
I told him I'd give him a hug, and he said, "Thank you, brother. I appreciate that."
Okay, you were in AEW, were you, when Cody was leaving?
I saw him in AEW. So I met him at AEW. No, I met him the Nightmare Factory first time. I went
Yeah.
to meet QT Marshall, and he wasn't there. Cody was there, so I introduced myself and I talked a little bit to him. And then we met here and there. And I remember one time in the back, Cody came to me and shook my hand. He kind of like in a funny way. He's like, Vineesh. He said it loud. Um, but then, I had that positive vibe with him. Then a year or something later, when I ended up doing extra work, and also before Mania, I was doing extra work for NXT, SmackDown, Raw, and I got a chance to do, I believe it was Raw, and I saw him and shook his hand, and I told him, I'm so happy to see you here. This is where you really belong. And he hugged me and he said, "It means a lot to me, brother. Thank you."
Yeah, I think he was always going to go full circle, and he's going to get that title on him eventually. I think him and Roman Reigns seems to be the way things are going to go for a big match.
I hope so, man. Again, like I said, from what I've seen, okay, from what I've seen from AEW, a bunch of people running the asylum. It's just like nothing was organized. Everything is all over the place. Um, People are not happy. People, they stare at you, like give you the mean look. It's only a few people are happy. There's just a few people are very friendly. Yeah, it was just that bad white man. It was again. Um, you're doing something for the fans, and if you're doing from the heart, you should be happy.
Hmm. And of course, like you'd be
Because
getting.
yeah, because it's just most of the people that I met. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of nice guys out there too. I mean, there was cool guys that I met. I still to this day I talk to Brian Cage. He's one of the nicest dude I ever met. Coolest, humble, down to the earth, very helpful, friendly, helped me a lot, gave me a lot of advice. Uh, he's one of the nicest guy that I still talk to and test with. Nice guy. And there's just a few nice guys out there, like Matt Seidel, Mike Seidel. Um, who's the guy that walks around with Sting?
Darby Allen.
Darby Allen. He's another guy. Great dude, great attitude. And again, this is like few people out of 100. Most of them, like they're on their own place. I understand. It's just like they're comfortable where they are. But again, like when you approach, and again, you get the cold response. And one incident happened with Pac, Adrian Neville. I remember I was waiting outside, and he passed me, and we were talking, and he was asking me where I'm from and everything. The QT came to me, and he called me, "Hey, Vineesh, come inside." I was like, "Okay," and he didn't say anything. Then later, I was waiting for the elevator, and Pat came by. "Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I forgot to I don't want you to feel like I disrespected you by walking away. I apologize. The QT called you. That's why I couldn't really talk. So everything is okay, man. It was nice meeting you." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, cool, dude." So remember this. Pat came to me when I was waiting for the elevator, and a week or two later, when QT was embarrassing me in front of all these 100 people, one of the things he said, Pat came to me and said you were bothering him, and he told me keep an eye on this guy. He's trouble. I knew he
Jesus.
was lying because if Pac said that, he don't have to approach me from far. He came to me when he saw me waiting for the elevator. Oh, why? And again, like I said, I've kissed his ass to get an opportunity for a whole year. And
It,
again, so many people there's bashing at me, and I'm sure the people coming up saying you're blackballed, dude. You burn bridges. Do I care?
it seems like it's just fucking drama central there, man, from the outside in. Because like I don't know anything, and people that do these podcasts and normally people that are writing stuff
And that's
online, they
another
don't
thing,
know.
man. Is like people are afraid. Independent professional wrestlers are afraid to come out and say it. And I tell you one more example. Big Swole, when she got released, she expressed her experience through Twitter, right?
Hmm.
And again, the discriminations and everything. And I remember at that time, I saw Tony Khan's tweet where he was saying that AEW is a very diverse place to work, and I did support it. I tweeted a supportive tweet because I've been told that I'm getting that contract, right?
Yeah,
So you have to make that impression. So I was selfish, and I didn't have the balls to support Swall. I didn't have the guts to say it, anything. So I was a complete coward and selfish. I went out there and I expressed my opinion, uh, a good opinion, right? Publicly, a good opinion. Oh, I completely agree with Tony Khan. AW is the greatest place to be. Blah 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 blah. Why? Because I thought that it's better to make an impression, especially an opinion, something like that coming from a South Asian, South Indian guy, so that kind of tell the world, hey, I look different, and I got treated fairly, right? It is an
yeah,
impression that I'm trying to create. By doing that, I thought that okay, anyway, they're offering me contract, of course, it's an impression, create an impression, so that's great. But again, nothing much happened, and again, I didn't have the guts. I didn't have the balls to support Big Swall. And again, I met Big Swall in the back. She's one of the nicest, coolest girls I ever met in my life. And a year later, I got a chance to meet her husband, Cedric Alexander,
yeah.
on a Raw. And I expressed my opinion, and I expressed my concerns with him. And I told him that she's one of the coolest person I ever met, and I didn't have the guts to support her, come out publicly and say all these things. Cedric appreciated that a lot, and again, like I said, things, man, makes you do all these things, like that contract, that opportunity, AEW, big television, all these things make you do all these such a things. People stab in the back each other to get a contract. People say all these nasty things to get a contract, and again, um, it's just make you a different bad evil person, man. I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah. Day to day life now, where are you wrestling? What are you doing?
My next wrestling show will be in Phoenix, Arizona for SCW. That will be this Saturday. Then after that, I'll be wrestling in Maine. Then I got another show booked out for in Georgia. I got to look at the name of the promotion. And then I got invited back to Puerto Rico. I'll be going back and wrestling in there. Then and also planning on launching my own wrestling promotion. So I'm working on that. But the beginning or end of the February will be I'll be done. I'm talking to a few of my friends. We are planning on launching like a Lucha Underground movie style type of wrestling. The plan is to air it on Amazon Prime, so anybody from anywhere all over the world can actually watch it to get an access. So nothing, a platform for guys and girls to perform and wrestle, and tell a story. Uh, something that is missing now these days. So
Yeah, I think the aspect of storytelling is kind of lost in translation in professional wrestling these days, and I think that even developing characters, I think, is lost, particularly on AEW. I don't want to just keep bashing AEW, but it just seems like there's guys coming out
you have to
and they're
talk about
just
the bad apple,
wrestling.
right?
There's just people wrestling, and they're coming out. They're all wearing the same gear. They're all doing the same moves. There's not enough background to it, and that's something that hopefully will change over time. But for yourself, like, what is your end goal? Where are you heading towards in your life in terms of wrestling? Do you want to have your own promotion? Do you want to go back to WWE and have a proper run there? Like, what is the goal for you?
I'm 35 years old, man. I don't think WWE wants me. Well, if I get an opportunity, of course, I'm not going to say no. It's
Yeah,
WWE, the best wrestling promotion in the world. I have nothing but love, 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 lots and lots of love and respect. All the experience that I had from there being amazing, and I still talk to people that I met from the Performance Center. Uh, Got a chance to meet some nice, cool people. Pat McAfee, Matt Riddle, everybody. Be so cool, awesome, you know. And if you're a professional wrestler, if you have a charisma, WWE is the place to be, you know. And more than 200 plus countries have viewership. They air on television. More than God, 100 some million people watch WWE all over the world.
yeah,
And definitely, if I get an opportunity, yeah, it would be an honor. But if I don't, yeah, I'm not going to cry about it. At the end of the day, I'm still a fan. I'll still watch. And again, wrestling business, again, starting your own promotion, again, it's kind of like a gambling too. Sometimes it can be a success, sometimes it can be a big failure. It
mhm,
depends how you do it. My goal is not to run only on one spot. I want to run the shows like in a different states, different cities. Create a brand. That's the ultimate goal. Like how Game Changer did.
mhm.
GCW started as a normal small promotion in New Jersey, New York area, and look at it right now. It's very popular. And even though it's just a goal, it's a dream. It can be, it can happen, and maybe it can happen. Maybe no, maybe a big failure. But yeah, you have to take risk, and you have to move forward with your goals. So far, that's my goal. I want to start my promotion. Meantime, I'll be wrestling. I want to go back to Mexico. Definitely, I had fun. It's one of the best places to wrestle. Amazing fans, great wrestlers,
It's
amazing.
culture. It's culture
Oh,
over there.
yep. Amazing. Great talents. I got a chance to meet Darren Dano again. It's from Ireland. One of the coolest dude I ever met. And man, again, this amazing culture. Then again, I want to go back to Japan one more time to
Mhm.
wrestle there in Japan. And of course, definitely I want to wrestle in India at least once.
Yeah, and Ireland. Don't forget Ireland. I
Oh yeah,
before we
yeah. There you go, Ireland, man. Ireland is
yeah,
another place. Dana was telling me, like, I definitely need to come there and wrestle there. Definitely, yeah. That's also another goal. I want
yeah.
to come there and wrestle there for sure. That is the goal
Tell
so far, and do a lot of
tell
podcasts.
tell people about the Sheamus story for the Irish people watching. They'll find that one good.
So, WWE SmackDown, I got invited. I got a chance to meet Finn Balor, and I got a chance to meet Sheamus. So when I saw Sheamus, I kind of did this. Hey, nice meeting you, man. And you know, shook his hand. He said, "Hey, man, don't do that. Don't do that. Keep your head straight. Look up. Be a man. Always look straight. All right." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that." And it was great personality. That's what he told me.
Yeah, I
And
think that was his way of. I said to you like about there's no need to bow or there's no need to do that in front of me. Like, I'm just the guy. And I told you he's like that when he comes to Ireland. He just goes to the pub and drinks pints and goes to soccer games or football games with people. And I also noticed that you've got your YouTube channel now as well with various clips on from different promotions and stuff like that. So do you want to tell people what's going to be going on your YouTube channel? You're kind of growing it at the moment as well, yeah?
So the name of my YouTube channel is Shoot and Stiff Wrestling Podcast. This is the podcast where me and my partner, my co-host C-Dub, we talk to independent professional wrestlers, promoters, bookers from all over the world. People who never got a chance to make it to the big league, or some people who made it to big league. So it's their stories, it's their experiences. That's what we've been doing it in our podcast. It's called Shoot and Stiff Wrestling Podcast. Straight up honesty, truth, no bullshit, and a lot of good stories, a lot of bad stories, a lot of funny stories, road stories. So much, and even sometimes I get a chance to share my experience. Something like that happened to me with CM Punk, something like that, and always it's very interesting. So that is my podcast. It's definitely an entertaining podcast for sure. If you're a professional wrestler, if you're a professional wrestling fan, you would definitely give a shot to that channel.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure you will enjoy it.
I will post the links underneath this video, and all I can say, man, is thanks a million for your time today. Pleasure talking to you. We'll catch up again, I hope.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.